Good morning. It is, what day is it? February 27th, I think. Thursday, February 27th, 2020. And I'm deciding to upload another video, mainly because somebody in the comments of my last video, which was just yesterday, asked for my perspective on the coronavirus, a Canadian perspective on the coronavirus. And I figured I may as well weigh in, why not? Get in the habit of making videos more frequently. Anyway, now I'm going to apologize in advance. The roads where I am are very crappy this morning. I don't have winter tires, so there's probably going to be some pregnant pauses because I need to concentrate on my driving a little bit more than I normally do. So be forewarned, there may be more pregnant pauses than normal. But I'm at a red light right now, so no big deal. So, coronavirus in Canada. As I cough. I took sick a few weeks ago. Really bad sore throat, really bad cough. And it was right before I went on vacation to Florida. And I don't think it's COVID-19. I think it's just a bad flu. Now, a buddy of mine has something very similar. He's still recovering. So it could very well be just a really bad flu. But here's the thing. I don't know. I'm not an old man. So a really bad flu and COVID-19 may be indistinguishable for me. Here's my paranoia on it. My barber, who I went to see about a week before I went away on vacation, is an Asian fellow. And while sitting in the chair, a news item came up about coronavirus. And he made some, you know, sort of comment, just conversational, said, oh, that's a bad virus or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I think, you know, China, the government of China kind of dropped the ball. And I started talking about, oh, you know, I'd love to go to China someday. You know, not right now, obviously, but eventually I'd like to go to China, a beautiful country with lots of history, yada, yada, yada. And he mentioned that he goes to Korea. So I go to Korea. I'm doing an accent, which is not racist. It's a form of appreciation. Thank you very much. Anyway, so he says, yeah, I go to Korea. And I neglected to ask him, oh, really? When was the last time you were in Korea? I should have. Because as it turns out now, South Korea's got quite a few cases. And my understanding, and I may be confusing South Korea with some other country that's been affected, but their case may have been like, the first case discovered may have been somebody who hadn't been to China, but obviously came into contact with somebody from China. But anyway, long story short, I don't know when this guy went to Korea, South Korea. It might have been, you know, in the time frame when the outbreak started happening. Remember, China, the government of China kept mum about the virus for about 3 or 4 weeks before anybody knew. So I had 3 or 4 weeks to spread, to cross the border, to go into the other neighboring countries in Southeast Asia. You know, had 3 or 4 weeks to incubate. So we don't really know. It could be much, much worse. Plus, in case you're not aware, China's a communist authoritarian regime. And they're not known for being honest or forthright. Styx Hexenhammer has talked about this at length. The nature of the system of government there does not condone is not conducive to people trying to solve problems, more like people trying to hide problems. Because if you solve problems, or if you bring problems up anyway, that's a good way for you to get your department shut down or you to get disappeared, right? Because the government needs to have the image of being strong and competent. So that's probably why this was kept quiet. And of course, you know, they blamed it on bat soup initially, and I heard some snake meat and that. Now it's almost certainly the case that it was an escape virus from that lab that's, like, you know, a block away from where this open air meat and fish market was. So yeah, you can't trust the Chinese government. Plus, they're not reporting their numbers consistently. You know, they're they go several days without ever, you know, showing that there's any new cases, which is impossible given, you know, that it's the epicenter of the outbreak. And while they've taken efforts to quarantine and whatnot, the virus is going to spread. It doesn't matter. There's just too many damn people in China for it not to spread. So they go days and days without reporting any new cases. And you can't trust that what they're talking about in terms of confirmed cases is actually true. Anyway, so in Canada, in the province I am, apparently I read an article the other day, Ontario is now coronavirus free. So we had a couple cases in Ontario, and people who came back to Canada from China right around when the media blitz started happening around coronavirus, they reported it themselves, said, hey, I'm not feeling well and I was just in China. They were self-quarantined, and I guess several weeks have passed now, and I guess they've recovered. Again, they weren't older people, they weren't really young people, so they're not at risk of dying from this disease. Now, Bill Mitchell, who's I follow on Twitter, is you know, very adamant about playing this up as being just a conspiracy, like all the hype anyway, a conspiracy by Democrats and the media elites to try and undermine Trump. They want to sow panic and have the economy tumble so that Trump is weaker going into the election. And that very well may be. I think there is a little bit of truth to that, but he's downplaying the severity of the virus. The severity of the virus is such that it is something that should really be, you know, shouldn't just be, you know, dismissed as being, oh, it's just another flu. Well, not quite. We don't know very much about this virus. It's novel, as they call it. That's why it's called novel coronavirus 19, or COVID-19. But what we do know is that it's got an incubation period of about 2-3 weeks in which people may be asymptomatic, meaning they've got the virus, they can spread the virus through bodily fluids, through touching, and they don't even know it, right? Now, because people are hyper aware, I think that's going to be less of an issue at this point, but initially, that's what caused it to spread so rapidly. And the symptoms of it are not unlike flu, but I'll tell you, if what I've been suffering from, which I highly doubt, but if what I've been suffering from for the last couple of weeks is COVID-19, it's not a very happy flu. It's not a very nice virus to have. I was coughing like an idiot for 2 weeks straight. I missed several days of work. My lungs were filled with phlegm and garbage. It was I had my doctor said I had viral pneumonia in my right lung. So I was off for several days. I spent about 5-6 days in bed, all told. If you don't count the time I spent in bed when I was on vacation in Florida. God, the worst thing that can happen is you have a week's vacation, you're going somewhere nice and warm, and the first couple of days, you're sick. So you can't even enjoy the nice weather. You can't even get out. I spent the first couple of days in bed when I was in Florida. And then I spent about 4 or 5 days in bed last week, coughing like an idiot, spitting up the nastiest looking phlegm you ever saw. My throat was killing me. Every time I coughed, I felt like, you know, somebody was cutting my throat with razors. Not a very nice virus. So if it is, and again, I highly doubt it is, if it is COVID-19, I don't wish it upon anybody. You know, young or old, healthy or unhealthy, it's not very nice. So, that being said, there is a lot of speculation by immunologists saying that up to 80% of Brits may catch COVID-19, or 60% of the world will eventually get COVID-19. And I read another article that said, you will probably get COVID-19. So I guess what they're trying to say now is this is going to be a new endemic flu. This is going to be the new flu. This is going to be the nasty flu that everybody gets, and it's not as lethal as the flu. But the way it spreads is what's nasty, right? The fact that it can spread, and they don't have vaccines. The fact that it can spread when people don't even know they have it is the worst part. And that you can have it for several weeks and be spreading it yourself, and then all of a sudden your symptoms kick in. I'm happy that Ontario is coronavirus COVID-19 free. That's good. Quebec's got some cases. BC's got some cases, I think. But is this a big, you know, mega plague or whatever? Is this going to be, you know, a terrible, terrible thing? I don't know. I don't think so. I think if it comes to a city and it starts to, you know, there starts to be some panic, there's several cases in a city that go undetected. If, you know, some official drops the ball, right? And it starts to run rampant in a city, then there's going to be people, there's going to be runs on food and panics for food and panics for supplies and stuff like that. So, you know, as Tim Pool has said, as Sticks, Hex, and Hammer 666 has said, it doesn't hurt for you to get a few extra days' supplies. You know, just get some bottled water, you know, get some canned food, get some dry goods, excuse me, and, you know, be prepared for the fact that you might not want to go out. If it starts to spread in your city, you probably don't want to be out in public. So be prepared for, you know, the fact that you probably want to stay inside for a few days. Now, one of the things that I've seen online, this is kind of a novel take, and maybe a silver lining to the whole thing. If fears of the spread of this virus become high enough, because the technology allows for it, there could be a lot more telecommuting or remote working, right? Companies might just say, you know what, with the fear of coronavirus, we've had 2 cases in our office, we don't want any more, or we've had 1 case, it was a scare, or even if it's just 1 case in 1 office. So look, we don't want anybody catching it. We've disinfected the office, but just in case, you all have laptops, just work from home. Just log in from home remotely and work from home. My office is one of those offices that actually could do it. Everything we do is software based, and most of the stuff we do is cloud based. So I could work from home. Now I only live like 10 minutes away from home. So it would have to be something like that that would, you know, cause my bosses and the higher ups at my company to say, yeah, you know what, let's everybody work from home. The original idea behind getting everybody laptops at my work was basically, if there's an emergency and people can't come into the office, then you know, they can work remotely. And they're talking about a flood or a fire or something like that. They aren't talking about bad weather. So we can't stay at home and work if there's bad weather. Like today was a shitty day on the road. It's not terrible, but it's not nice. And we're not going to stay home for that. But a virus outbreak like COVID-19, yeah, if there's a scare in our office is, you know, a couple hundred people. If there's a scare at our office, I could see them going, you know what, just to be safe, let's everybody work from home. Can I get over? Yeah, thanks, let me in, buddy. I don't think he was letting me in, but I came in anyway. So, yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on the COVID-19 virus here in Canada. I don't think I have it. If I do have it, it's not very pleasant, but it's not like, oh shit, we're all gonna die. It's not polio or anything. But yeah, if you start to feel shitty and you think you've got something more than just a regular flu, maybe go to your doctor and see if they've got a test. When I went to my doctor recently because I couldn't shake this cough, my doctor, who's also Chinese, he's wearing a mask, and the nurse at the front counter says, "Put this mask on, you have a cough." I'm like, okay. They're like, wow, I feel like I'm in mainland China wearing a mask. You know, they all wear the masks. Anyway, a lot of people are giving, just a final thought, a lot of people are giving crap to Trump for, one, putting Pence in charge of the task force for COVID-19, and also, this road's terrible, and also because I guess his press conference yesterday didn't inspire a lot of confidence. It sounds to me like it's not something that Trump's really used to doing in terms of his presidential style or approach. He's really more concerned about you know, the economics of things. Anyway, at the end of the day, you know, he made a statement. He's like, look, you know, folks, treat this like it's the flu. You know, don't touch people unnecessarily. Wash your hands. You know, keep clean, and you know, avoid unnecessary contact with people, and things should be fine. Anyway, you know, it doesn't matter what he does; they're going to criticize him for it. But I don't think his response was all that bad. I was watching it, looking for, okay, is it going to be disappointing? Is it going to be badly done? I don't think so. One more thing before I sign off. I got a new phone, and now for some reason when I record these videos, it flips the orientation, it mirrors it, so it looks like I'm driving in Europe. And I don't know how to change it because I'm a boomer. I'm not a boomer, I'm a Gen Xer, but I'm not really up on the technology. If you've ever watched a live stream between Irving Twin and myself, you know there's always problems with me logging online. But anyway, so yeah, if that's disconcerting to you people, you know, you're just gonna have to get used to it, just like I'm gonna have to get used to it. Anyway, thanks for watching once again, and like, share, subscribe. You can check this out on BitChute if you don't like, you know, giving Google any money, and I don't blame you. I have a Twitter handle. It's @BragCD. I'm the happy little rabbit on there, and you can follow me there too. Anyway, I'm at work now. Thanks very much, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.